Hey guys, welcome to the video. So as you guys know, I'm a social research investor. So I don't use technicals, I don't use fundamentals. I look into the social aspect. I find information that I have above the market and I will invest in those investments, in those stocks, and those companies. And this has been super successful. The past year, my portfolio is up over 50% and last year's up over 60%. So I'm going to be starting a series where I teach you guys how to become social research investors, especially from the stock group. I want to build you into a social research investor so then you can give the group more opportunities, more finds in the social research space. And this is where the bank is. This is how you can make a ton of money using social research investing. So I'm going to be showing you guys a ton of things. And for the first episode, I'm going to be telling you guys when to buy a stock exactly. So let's get into it. Alright guys, let's start talking about it. So when do you buy a stock? How do you know when you have information above the market? I'm going to get into all those things in detail in this video. Show you guys the thing that has made me the most successful investor I ever thought that I would be. And I've made some amazing picks using social research investing. So how do I know when to buy a stock? So let's talk about it. As I social research invest, I scan Twitter, I scan Instagram, I scan Reddit, I scan Facebook, looking for any opportunity. I've been doing a ton of research and gathering a bunch of sites together to put in this private stock group. So if you want access to these sites, join the private stock group. The link is down below. And there's a special chat in there just for their resource sites. So that is something I use every day. I use these sites every day to research, and that's a big thing that has helped me find these opportunities. So when should you buy a stock? I buy a stock whenever I do research, I take a deep dive in the stock, and then I believe that I have more information than the market does on that stock. For example, I'm recently trading Smith & Wesson brands, ticker symbol SWBI, and GAN, ticker symbol GAN. So I believe that I have information above the market on these two, and I'll talk about Smith & Wesson first. So Smith & Wesson, they're producing as many guns as they can 24/7, as much ammo as they can 24/7, and they can't keep up with the demand, so they're having to do everything together. The market has priced some of this in, but it has not priced Smith & Wesson, the gains coming fully. So I'm playing Smith & Wesson earnings this week. Today there's another big gain in Smith & Wesson, so the market is starting to price in what's happening. So earnings may not have a pop if it's already priced in. If it is already priced in, I will sell before earnings, but there's a big possibility that the market will not price it in, and I'll keep holding through earnings depending on what the stock does tomorrow. So with GAN, ticker symbol GAN, I've done a ton of research on this one. I've listened to past earning calls, and I've called this my favorite stock for a while now. People are not pricing in the sports betting landscape. I believe the sports betting is going to be the next big industry in sports, the best big industry in millennials. I've done hours and hours of Twitter research, Instagram research, and Facebook research on this one especially. And I believe this is going to be the next big stock. I think it'll reach $40 by the end of the year. My thesis is, as long as it keeps the deal together with FanDuel, GAN is the software behind sports betting for those who are wondering. As long as they keep their deal that they've made with FanDuel, the stock is fine. If the deal with FanDuel would fall apart, I would sell, because that is not part of my thesis, and my thesis includes the deal with FanDuel. So everything's got to stay together for you to keep holding the stock. But I bought these stocks because I believe that I have information above the market. The market has priced in right there for Smith & Wesson, and I'm right there in information. So once it reaches up there in information, that is when I will sell. I can show you guys more and how to know when it reaches these points. And you may need to use some technicals, you may need to use some fundamentals, but the main thing that makes you buy a stock is social research analysis. So the first example that I'm going to use of a social research investment this year is Peloton, ticker symbol PTON. So earlier in the year, before Peloton earnings, I bought in heavy with call options, bought in heavy with regular stock, and I was playing going into earnings. All the research that I did, all the social research that I did said that everybody was buying these. They were backed up on orders. They were making as many as they could and still not getting all their orders out. So I was super bullish on Peloton, and I knew they were going to kill earnings. So I knew that Peloton was doing so well that the information dissemination had not crossed through the market yet, and I knew more information than the market had priced in. So that's the reason that I bought in so heavy. That's the reason that this was such a high conviction trade for me. And I believe that this is another high conviction social research investment. I've still been researching Peloton. This will be another buy before next earnings, which is in August. So that's why I bought into Peloton, and that was my social research aspect side of that. I just knew more than the market did, and I finally priced it in. I finally sold at about $50. Since then, it had dropped to like 45. I bought in heavy once again, and it's already back up to 50. So I'm holding strong for next earnings, and I will buy more heavily if the market does not price in what's going to happen at earnings once again. So how did I know that information dissemination had not crossed through Peloton, and how I knew that I had more information than the market did? Well, I took a look at this stock chart, and it was up a solid 5 or 6% in the past week. I think I bought in at like $31. So this obviously was not priced in what was happening and what I researched. So a 5% gain, in my opinion, it should have been a 50% gain. So that's why I bought in super heavy, and it ended up being a 50% gain, more than a 50% gain. But anyways, I knew that the fact that Peloton was making as many bikes as they could, or doing as many orders as they could, and the fact that the stock was only 5% in the past week after that news had come out, I was like, okay, this is not priced in. We need to start a position. Once this gets fully priced in, it may be before earnings, it may be after earnings, and it ended up being right at earnings and after earnings. So that's when it finally got priced in. That's when I finally sold the stock. But the fact that Peloton was only 5% up in the past week after this news had come out, after the information should have been disseminated but it wasn't, that's how you beat Wall Street. That's how you beat the market, and that's how you pick the best stock you can find. So when do you buy a stock? You buy a stock whenever you have more information than the market has priced in on that particular stock.